I finally played Lies of P, and man, I have been impressed. This is a game I've followed since it was announced way back in 2021, and I'm loving the experience. But by the time the game was released in September of 2023, I was very busy with Elden Ring. And when I planned to finally play it in the first half of 2024, Miyazaki and Bandai Namco threw a ton of trailers for Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, and I ended up so hyped to face Messmer and uncover secrets the Shadowlands had for us in wait. But in the days leading up to the release of Elden Ring Night Rain in May of 2025, I felt it was about time I finally played Lies of P, and I have never looked back ever since. I decided to take my time to understand this IP, gameplay-wise, but also the story. Despite the early frustrations with gameplay mechanics like the parry system, Lies of P grew on me with its linear world design, atmosphere, NPC interactions, the story, beautiful graphics, engaging boss fights, and so on. So far, I have finished the game about 4 times, and I just completed my first playthrough of the Overture DLC, and I loved the experience. In discussing my experiences with this game, I will briefly talk about world design, weapons, and like every Souls game, the bosses. Now, I won't go into too much detail. This will just be a summary of my experience with the game, as there are countless other videos out there that dive deep into every detail. The city of Krat tells its story quite well, from mad puppets lurking the streets to the carcass monsters occupying St. Frangelico Cathedral, as well as the Marlem district. We also got to see puppet-making factories in the Workshop Union area. I felt the developers did a fantastic job with the game's environmental storytelling. Jumping into the DLC was a refreshing experience for me, with new lore revelations, new NPCs with great voice acting, new side quests, and so on. Like in the base game, the DLC also does a good job at environmental storytelling. From the base game as an example, you could see grotesque carcass creatures all over Krat, but what we don't see much are the laboratories where experimentation was conducted, where these abominations were birthed in the pursuit of ascension by the alchemists. But in the DLC, we get to see these labs in the Zelator underground facilities, with vivid evidence of brutal experiments with virtually no regard to human life, with transformed creatures such as the two-faced overseer at the top. I also love the ergo mines, where we see how puppets were used by the alchemists to perform ergo mining operations for years. There is a variety of weapons in Lies of P. Some are fun to use, others not so much, but I loved the weapon customization options the game offers. We are able to assemble weapons or swap out handles to our heart's content, which I thought is fun. From the boss weapons of the base game, I loved the Puppet Reaper and the Etiquette. I felt the Reaper was particularly great, and its Fable art attack was strong. The DLC also introduced a few weapons of its own, from the Royal Hornbow to the Pale Knight, and the Monad's Rose Sword, which I believe is the best weapon in the game, though some in the community will argue it's the Two Dragons Katana. The leveling system is very similar to that of Elden Ring, but with one major difference. Lies of P has an upgrade system known as the P Organs, which allows us to apply attributes other than those of strength or motivity, dexterity or technique, and stamina. It's a huge skill tree, but quite fun once you familiarize yourself. The game balances well between humanoid, puppets, and grotesque monsters like Archbishop Andreas for boss fights. I enjoyed the Scrapped Watchman boss fight, the Rabbit Brotherhood first boss fight but not the second one, and I thought the Bishop Andreas fight was fun. But I didn't like the Simon Manus fight that much. I think the second phase could have been better. But that's just my opinion. The DLC continues the same trend of having a mixture of humanoid as well as grotesque beings for bosses. I felt the Anguished Guardian of the Ruins boss fight was particularly breathtaking and epic. I also had a tough experience getting past leaders of the two stalker groups in Krat, namely Veronique and Lumacchio. But both fights were pretty decent. Then the final boss, Arlecchino the Blood Artist, kept me engaged throughout with his non-stop attacks, and he reminds me of the Joker from the Batman series with his clown-like appearance and dialogue style. But this was a great boss fight overall. If you're coming from Miyazaki's games like Bloodborne, the Dark Souls series, as well as Elden Ring, then you fully understand that good music is a major part of these games, and Lies of P does not disappoint. The music is great in its own unique way. I love the Arche Abbey theme, Bishop Andrea's second phase track, Saintess of Mercy statue song, and so on. All in all, I have had a great time with Lies of P. The gameplay slowly grew on me, and eventually got me obsessed, which is something I never thought would happen to me from a non-From Software game. On June 20th, 2025, the developers announced that the game had sold some 3 million copies since its launch. It's surely an achievement for a new Souls-like from a previously unknown developer, but I just feel this game deserves more sales. It's a really good game. And I encourage anyone still on the fence to go ahead and try it out. It will surely be worth your time and money. There you have it, guys. That's my thoughts after playing Lies of P and finishing it at least 4 times. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more, and I will see you in the city of Krat, my fellow stalkers.